Hello and welcome to another DCAT 2 lesson brought to you by the North American Clinical Research Consortium. I'm Dr. Leonard Matheson. This lesson focuses on how we use the Employability Rating Scale in the DCAT 2 ONET work sample test to rate the 5 levels of the client's employability. This depicts the evaluation of Joanna Kim by Susan Jones, using the work sample 1 evaluation record. Susan has observed Joanna and uses the ERS to record her performance. The ERS has guided Susan's supervision of Joanna using the minimum necessary intervention approach. The basic idea is that the evaluator must refrain from intervention unless and until the evaluee is stuck or begins to be unsafe. The ERS has 5 levels, from competitive to unemployable. Competitive indicates that the worker does not require accommodation to be safe and dependable, with productivity that is comparable to similarly situated workers. Similarly situated means that your client should be compared only to those people with a similar level of training and experience. Self-managed means that the person has reasonable accommodations, but they don't need help from anybody else. With those accommodations, the person's productivity is comparable to similarly situated workers. Coached means that the client needs some limited physical and/or verbal guidance, and with that guidance, their productivity is comparable to similarly situated workers. Active supervision means that the client needs ongoing physical and/or verbal intervention. In these cases, the person's productivity is not comparable to similarly situated workers. And of course, not employable means that even with accommodations, the person has no safe and dependable productivity. So to help structure and standardize the minimum necessary intervention approach, we've developed this decision tree. The first step is to determine if accommodation is necessary. If accommodations are not necessary, the rating is competitive. For this particular task, the person doesn't need any interventions. But if one or more interventions are necessary, go to step 2. Susan rated Joanna at the competitive level for 6 of the 10 variables, including 5 of the ONET variables. She didn't need to intervene to assist Joanna. Decision tree step 2 begins the discrimination among the 3 levels of intervention. First, we ask whether evaluator assistance is necessary. If not, the rating is self-managed. In self-managed, the evaluee independently performs work tasks with various accommodations without any assistance from another person. The accommodations are adequate and independently utilized. Joanna is rated at self-managed because she benefited from using the labeled chair model and the labeled photo of the assembled chair, but she did so without any assistance from Susan. In step 3, we need to determine the level and duration of any physical and/or verbal guidance that is necessary to allow the evaluee to work on a safe and dependable basis. If this is adequate, the rating is coached. At the coached level of accommodation, the evaluee can work on a safe and dependable basis with brief or limited support. If the brief or limited support is inadequate, however, so that the assistance from the evaluator needs to be ongoing or repeated, it doesn't qualify for the coach level, and we go to step 4. At step 4, if the ongoing support is adequate, the rating is active supervision. Active supervision presumes that the assistance from supervisory personnel or coworkers is adequate to complete the tasks on a safe and dependable basis, but their productivity is no longer comparable to similarly situated workers. An example of this would be a client who's successful in a sheltered workshop setting. If this level of supervision is not adequate, the rating is not employable. Not employable connotes that even with active supervision and accommodations, safe and dependable productivity is not able to be achieved at any level. Typically, this would be pertinent for people who are not safe in a work setting or for people who are interpersonally disruptive. So role play this with a colleague so that you can rate the client's employability without having to use the decision tree. I know it's boring, but it's important to standardize these ratings so that when we assign behaviorally anchored ability scores, you'll have good inter-rater reliability. We'll be addressing that in the next lesson. For further information, reach out to us, info@mathesondevelopment.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Take care now.